everybody, this is Charlie here. Welcome to the channel, Rookie Farmer channel. Behind me I have my Ford 530 small Hay Baler, and we need to make some adjustments to one of the needles. The needles is running a little bit close inside the knotter assembly, so we're going to make some adjustments and check the full settings of it. Coming up on hay baling season, so I'm just kind of going through the baler itself and making sure everything's good for the next one. It's a little bit breezy out, sun's kind of bright, so I'm hoping that light darkness doesn't affect the video quality. If it does, my apologies. I'll do my best when I'm editing to try to brighten areas if it's too dark. So let's get started. Okay, so I have the twine already round from a cycle, and I went ahead and pulled some slack, and I have it simulated as I'm baling hay. So I have a bungee cord hooked to both of the lines, and there, so it's pulling them somewhat taut. So to simulate, it's actually wrapping a bale. So what we're having here is this needle. When I looked at it earlier, it's passing and almost rubbing in here. So it has to be close, but not rubbing close. So in order to adjust that, you'd have to loosen these bolts and then slide it over and see if that, it could be that they're just a little bit loose. So I need to check that. Like I said, I bought this baler used. There's no telling what kind of service history this thing has, so we're going to do our best to make this a little bit better. I can tell in the past that this thing had a broken needle because it was welded and the remnants of the scarring is right there, but it still functions. I've baled hay with it, so we're good. So what we're going to do is we're going to trip the knotter and run it through its knotting cycle, and then once we get it to the knotting cycle and get it into the position, then I'll show you what I'm talking about in comparison to the other one, and then we'll make adjustments as we need. So stand by and we'll come right back. All right, I've cycled the thing. So when you go to rotate, you want to make sure you go really slow till you see this thing get to the top of its travel, so you don't overshoot it. So I thought it was touching, but it is not, but we'll go over this anyways. It says, it's just got to clear. If it's missing it might as well be by a mile. But you can take the fork, and you see this is the one, or the needle, this is the one I thought was too close, but it's not actually. So I'm actually flexing it and it's clearing it. So this basically all it says is it just needs to miss the gear down there, because the gear sticks out, I guess, a little bit farther. No, it doesn't. It's more the housing to myself. So we got clearance there. The other one's got clearance there. So if those were too close and they need to be adjusted, you would do it by loosening these bolts on those clamps. It's on this rod, and then you slide it left and right to adjust your clearance. Your other check is when it's at the very top of its travel, you want to measure from the bottom of the eye hole on your needle to this top plate on here, and you should be around 1 3/4 to 2 1/4. So we are good. It's at the top end of its travel, so in theory what I could do is you loosen this nut and you adjust this clevis to set the height on these right here. So I would take and make this longer to shorten it up. I may just do that, being that it is at the top edge of its travel. Sorry, my ruler, hopefully it can see. Actually, we're a little bit over. We're almost 2.5. Yes, and that one's fine there. but I'm assuming that's because that needle was broken. They repaired it, so we may have we should be able to split the difference between the two, as long as it falls, the needles fall within the proper spec, which is 1 3/4 to 2 1/4. So I will loosen that up and drop that, and then set these pins, set these needles to the right height. We'll come back. Okay, we made our adjustments. The I had to remove the clevis pin out of here so you could spin this. It was a total of 4 complete turns in order to get this within spec. So we stick the ruler in here, and we're at 2 inches. This one here, we are at the 1 3/4, so there's a 3/4 inch difference between the two. But what I have noticed is that the twine has actually worn a groove in this eye, so it's dropping it down about 1/8 of an inch. So there's a little bit of a difference there so between the two, because this one was a broke needle, they've effectively shortened it by 1/8 of an inch. So what I may end up doing is bring it back up at least a full turn, to bring this a little bit more in the positive instead of on the lower end, which because of that wear in the groove. So I'll go in a full turn. That'll give me a good, so eventually I'm going to have to pull that out. So yeah, I'll probably have to fix that eventually, re-weld it and refile it back down nice and smooth so it's at the correct height right here. So I'm going to go ahead and loosen this back up. So basically all I'm doing is I grab a hold down here with one hand, pull up on it so I can pull this pin out of the clevis, and then I turn it. I had to go lengthening it in order to shorten the needle. So I'm going to turn it back in to lengthen the needles now. Okay, I did one turn in, and that brought it in about 1/8 of an inch. So now I'm at 2 1/8 on this needle, and about 1 7/8 inches on that needle. So we are good. That's all set. So now what we'll do, being that the clearance is good, I'm not going to mess with it. Clearance is good, so I'm going to go ahead and tighten up the jam nut and put a new carter pin. Said if you guys don't have, I replace all my carter pins every time I remove them out. You don't have to, but I bought this little carter pin assortment at Harbor Freight, like $6 or $7 for the whole thing, and so I just swap them out when I do that. A lot of times I'll take and put anti-seize on here, but this one was actually greased up, so it wasn't terrible to break it free. So anyways, I'm going to put this jam nut back on, and then we can move on to something different. I hope you learned something from this. Bear in mind, I am not a professional. Henceforth, the rookie farmer is the title of this page. Please like and subscribe. If you have any questions, comments, some better ways to do things with this old tractor implements, please feel free to drop them in there. If you got a request for something, let me know. I'll do my best to try to muddle my way through it. Anyways, please like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next video.